Good morning, everyone. We're going to call this meeting to order. Today is Monday, January 5th. It is 9 a.m. Three of the council members are present. One is retired, and one is in Maui, I think, Hawaii, somewhere. If you please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
As we step into 2026, may we be filled with the strength to overcome challenges, the wisdom to make thoughtful choices, and the compassion to uplift those around us. Today, we offer our deepest gratitude to Jim Adderholt for his dedication and service. His contributions have strengthened this community, and we wish him every success and fulfillment as he begins his new endeavors. Let us embrace the possibilities that lie ahead with gratitude for the blessings of the past and a commitment to living with purpose and kindness. Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, before we get started, we have to have a motion and a vote for Councilor King to attend the meeting virtually. Is there a motion to approve Councilor King?
So moved.
Got a motion by Vice Mayor Safford,
Second.
seconded by Councilor Link. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Morning, John. We can see you now. Can't hear you, though. Next is the approval of the final agenda.
Let's get his audio going
Yeah.
before we do anything. John, we still can't hear you.
He's working on it. Looking tan, though.
I take it you can hear us.
Yeah.
Good.
Can't hear you.
It's coming.
Zoom's not even picking him up, so it's something on his end.
Okay.
So,
Are you really in Hawaii?
So he
You
could
want to tell?
write something in.
John, Zoom is not picking you up, so we're assuming it's something on your end?
Can he call in? We're going to give you a call, John, so we can have you at least on speaker. We'll figure it out.
I need permission.
Well, while we're waiting, how was everybody's New Year?
Thumbs up.
That's it? Just thumbs up?
Short. Had family in town. Did family things.
Oh.
Played bucket golf. Have you played?
Bucket, I've seen it. I have not
It
played
is
it.
fun.
Yeah?
Did you go to? I thought you went to Wisconsin.
I did, and then I came home and more family came.
Wow.
Well, that's a lot of family.
Two
Tracy.
words.
It's a lot of family, yes.
Spotted cow.
Spotted cow.
Indeed. I tried to bring some home, but I already had, I know, I thought of you, sorry. I tried to, yeah. I had too many carry-ons. They wouldn't allow me a case of beer on the airplane.
Get at the airport, man.
What do you mean? You didn't rent a car and just drive?
No. But I highly recommend bucket golf. It's quite fun.
How was your New Year's?
Is it? Well,
Yours
we'll,
was very quiet.
we'll take a brief recess
boys were down here
until we get this figured out, and then we'll come back as soon as, give it 10 minutes.
Jim? Or John?
Can Josh hear me in there?
I think Josh is on the phone with him right
Oh, is he? Okay.
And so we're off camera because of the red light?
No, that's still on.
Okay.
Well, we're getting the new year off with a bang. All right. We're back on? All right. We'll call this meeting back to order. Josh, can you see me in there?
Yes.
Okay, we're good. All right, we'll call the meeting back to order. Next is the approval of the final agenda. Is there a motion to approve the final agenda?
So moved.
Got a motion by Vice Mayor Safford. I'll second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is public comment. Amy?
I have nobody signed up.
Tom? Come on up. Good morning.
Good morning, Tom Brady. Live at 339 Madison Court. Hey, it's not part of my prepared speech, but I need to give a shout out to the men and women of the United States Army and the agency. I was in the Army and worked at the agency, and they don't set policy. I'm not saying whether I approve or disapprove of that action from a justification standpoint, but when you're in the trenches and you get an order and you follow the order, and those things haven't always gone that well in the past, and it's just amazing how well that whole operation went, and really proud of the men and women of the United States for making that happen. I'm here today to be considered for the vacant seat, and I've given you some of my background. Let me give you a different spin on it. My first job was selling newspaper subscriptions door to door for the Washington Post. I was born in the DC area. And then I went on to delivering newspapers. Then I started pumping gas at multiple different gas stations and cleaning bathrooms, because I think that's what they hire the kids for. Now, those are two jobs that have now gone obsolete, so I guess I'm never going to work as one of those before. When I turned 16, I was able to get a job as a tire changer at a Goodyear store, work through the winter changeover snow tires. It's a lot of work. I grew up in a family of 6 children. We had very, very little, even though my father was a government employee back then. Government employees didn't get paid much. We had to share bath water. We used to fight over who was the first bath, and who got the last bath was low man or woman on the toilet bowl. And my mother fed us on a pound of hamburger and a can of vegetables. So I had a very austere beginning, and I think that is part of who I am. But my parents instilled really strong values in me that guided my life. I've also managed large organizations to the extent that I've flown in the corporate jets for HP, EDS, and General Motors. And I've worked with executive leadership around the world. My strength is working across different levels, from entry-level employees all the way up to the C-suite. I never lost sight of the fact of the values that were instilled in me and my upbringing. And I planned to quietly retire here in Fort Myers Beach, but I was asked to step forward, and I could not turn down that call. I have been a big fish in a big pond, but I've also cleaned gas station toilets and latrines and porta potties in the Army when we were in the field. But I do understand hard work, accountability, and service, and I understand the trade-off that have to be made. It was stockholders, it was employees, and it was customers in the past, and now it's residents, it's commercial interests, it's environment, and it's the other stakeholders that contribute here to the town. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
Anyone else? Bill?
Bill Veach, for the record, Stara Boulevard, longtime resident, of course. I just want to say, I'm here to support Tom. There was, as you know, an election, and the election was a significant blowout by electoral standards. I think that he's the only candidate that really has the mandate from the ballot box. I will also say, I can't attest to his ability to clean toilets. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm sure, according to my wife, it's probably better than mine. But also, I'll say that I know that the situation right now is fairly unique. Having Jim resign before there's the 2 years left in his term, I think creates some awkwardness. But there's also some awkwardness with the appeal that is still outstanding in John's case. So I'll just say that for simplicity, that if Tom is appointed, to just keep things predictable and understandable, that I will drop the appeal against John. So that's kind of just my 2 cents. But I really don't know Tom well, but I've got to know him lately over the last year or so, and he's a stand-up guy. He stood up when people asked him to. He's smart. He won't be in over his head anyway because he's been, like he said, he's been a big fish in a big pond. He's been around. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. Jim? Round out the trifecta.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Several years ago, I was asked by then President of Bowling Green State University, where I'd attended many years before, to be that year's commencement speaker at the College of Business graduation ceremony. You all have my resume outlining my professional history and personal experiences, and with that in mind, it was not uncommon for universities to reach out to former students who had achieved that level of success. But it was important to me, when I accepted that assignment, to make sure that the message they walked away from that day was not one of accomplishment in and of itself, but much more a personal process that led to and made that success much more authentic and satisfying. So I think in many ways, much of that message applies to this moment, as well as you're in the context of the decision you're going to have in front of you soon. So I pulled out my personal notes from that day, and I want to share a part of them with you. I began my presentation by sharing with them the concept that I believe there's a process in a particular order that we all go through to make the decisions and ultimately drive the results we achieve, whether it's individually or collectively, as a team or as a community. To me, that process is beliefs, create behaviors that then drive outcomes. That's the natural order and the only one that doesn't require artificial or outside forces to achieve. For example, outcome-only driven results require incentives, money, title, personal rewards, and so on. Companies use this approach very effectively. Behavior-only driven results usually require pain, pleasure, punishment to sustain. Governments use this approach by passing laws to keep a functioning and civil society. But it's only the beliefs that come from a different place, such as religious faith or personal values, that do not need outside influences to sustain them and get the desired results. So I want to take a moment and share my personal beliefs with you today, the way I see the world, and ultimately the framework for any success I've achieved in my life so far. I believe that everyone can contribute in some way to the betterment of all. I believe that partnerships are more important and certainly more powerful than individual efforts alone. I believe that while what you do is important, how you do it is even more so. And I believe there's a special responsibility, a personal responsibility that comes with living in and ultimately being a leader in our society. So I wrapped up my presentation to say it takes great courage to face the unknowns in one's life, to put it all on the line, leave behind our familiar surroundings, in order to face the challenges of an unknown world. And yet, in order to grow, that's what we continue to do. I'm proud of what I've accomplished professionally. I'm more proud of how I did what I did, the beliefs that I have that drive my decisions and my outcome, and I'm certainly hopeful to give all of that to Fort Myers Beach. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. There's no one else here, so we'll close public comment. It'll bring us to local achievements and recognitions. Counselor King.
Yeah, I've got 3 quick ones. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to start by recognizing the town employees for their hard work and dedication in 2025. Once again, they handled numerous transitions, such as a new town manager and a new town hall, to name a couple, with their usual aplomb. So thank you. Also, recognize Beach Talk Radio for another successful New Year's Eve 5K run and 1 mile walk at Diamond Head Beach Resort. It was the 3rd annual, and they raised $12,000 for the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club. So thank you for that. Last but not least, recognize Jim Matterholt for his passion and dedication to Fort Myers Beach. Thank you, Jim. I'm proud to call you and Brenda friends and wish nothing but the best for you both. And that's it.
All right, thanks, sir. Counselor Link?
Yes, so John had 2 of them. Again, town staff for an awesome, awesome year. I cannot imagine how difficult it is. There's so many things to do, and being shorthanded is difficult. So thank you every day. And as well, Jim Adderholt. I hope it wasn't something I said, because I was looking forward to learning so much from Jim. So best wishes, Jim, Godspeed, and I'm sure you'll still be a part of this town. That's it for me. Thank you.
All right. Vice Mayor Zachary.
I can't even add any more to that. I echo all, both of your comments. I mean, Happy New Year to everybody, and Jim, best of luck. I know you're going to be successful in whatever you do, even if it's a retirement. You better improve your tennis game, too.
Yeah, I can't add much more. I think everybody had the same, it sounds like everybody had the same recognitions on their sheet. Just wished Brenda and Jim the best in his retirement. And anytime you need a pickleball player, let me know. We'll dust them things off and and show the people that we are true athletes. No laughing. All right, moving on, advisory committees, items and reports. I don't see anything or anyone here. Next is the approval of the minutes from the town council meeting in December 15th, 2025. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from that meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion by Vice Mayor Safford, seconded by Councilor Link. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. Next is our consent agenda. There are 3 items, Resolution 26-001 through 26-004 for the extension of the local emergency Tropical Storm Debbie, Resolution 26-005 through 26-008 for the extension of local emergency for Hurricane Helene, and Resolution 26-009 through 26-012, extension of the local emergency for Hurricane Milton. Is there a motion to pass the consent agenda?
So moved.
We've got a motion by Counselor King.
Second.
It's seconded by Counselor Link. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries unanimously. We do not have anything removed from the consent agenda. There are no public hearings, so we will move on to administrative agenda. The first item is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach, Florida, relating to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection State Revolving Fund Loan Program, making findings, authorizing Amendment Number 5 to loan agreement, reaffirming pledge revenues, providing assurances, providing for conflicts, severability, and an effective date. Joe?
Good morning, Joe Onzik, Finance Director. This amendment to the loan, this additional amount to be borrowed, has really been over 2 years in the making. This stems all the way back to when the Andrews site work contract was first approved back in 2023. It was a very large dollar amount, and at that time it was not fully funded, with the expectation that over the period of time in which this contract was supposed, the services were to unfold, which would all the way to 2028, that there would be additional funding sources identified. As it turns out, we've not been too successful in finding other grants that could help us with that, but one way that could be one way that could fund it would be an additional loan amount from the SRF revolving loan fund. And so this started, the contemplation of that started like over 2 years ago. We were working with Angie Brewer. Over the past year, it was because you cannot go back and ask for loan amounts, often. You need to think carefully about the amount that you are asking for. And so there was a good amount of planning and thought put into it by those involved in the project side. And so aside from funding the remaining unfunded portion of the Andrews site contract, which was almost $5 million, there were additional projects that have been identified along the way, which amount to over another $2 million. Some of those projects that were in addition to the original Tier 1 project were Seaview Street Water and Stormwater Project, Carlos Circle Stormwater, Fairview Boulevard Stormwater, Curlow Street Stormwater, Albatross Stormwater. So those are additional things that have been specifically identified. And then there's also a contingency of amount of about $1.5 million, so that in the event other projects are identified, we would have that available to us. And just because we are authorized to borrow this additional amount doesn't necessarily mean we have to spend it all. If there are no further projects that then have already been identified, then we don't need to obviously draw down the full amount. And then the repayment amount would be adjusted according to the amount we actually borrow. And it was clarified for me that these repayments do not begin until 2029. We already do have sufficient revenue coming into the Stormwater Fund, together with the amount of accumulated excess revenue that has built up in the Stormwater Fund to fully repay the loan according to the amortization schedule. So this is now before you to approve. And I think the one last thing I would just mention is within the packet, At the time, we didn't have the attorney opinion letter when this was published, but we since do have that from our town attorney. We received that and it's been distributed to you, and that is now, would be part of the packet.
John, questions for Joe?
Not necessarily a question, but more of a comment, and maybe some future thinking. I don't know that it would work in this situation, but going down the road, I'd like to see us at least consider using the Florida Municipal Loan Council through the Florida League of Cities to benefit us because they have a more cost-effective way by leveraging benefits because of a large pool of financing. So just something to keep in mind down the road.
May I? I also would like to say that this is a 0% interest loan, so I don't.
Yeah, that's why I said what I said. Thanks, Joe.
That's an important part.
That was my
That's a good
question. So that's awesome. There is one Scribblers there I found on page 145. You still have the old town hall address. But that's great, Joe. Thank you. 0% is my kind of money.
Anything else, John?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Rebecca?
Yeah, I have a quick question, Joe. I missed one of them. You said Seaview, Carlos Circle, Curlew, and what was the last place?
I think Fairview was in there.
Fairview.
Albatross.
Oh,
And
Albatross.
Albatross, yes.
And I don't know if you can answer this, or perhaps Will, you can answer it. Doing these projects on these 4 additional projects, will they help subsequent streets that are nearby, or is it really just going to help that street? Do you know? I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, I do not
I
know
wouldn't think you
personally,
would
but-
know that, Joe.
All the projects, and Jeff, if you can maybe comment on this, as Jeff is coming up, it is all integrated. I mean, so that
Right.
if we improve one,
So we
it does
may
have
see
a
some-
positive effect on others as well, but I'll have Jeff further go in detail.
Yeah, Jeff Hoagie, Community Services Director, Town of Fort Myers Beach. Yeah, I mean, the purpose of this Tier 1 is to minimize the flooding. I mean, we know as a standard practice, if it rains real hard or we get high tides, it's about 24 to 48 hours before the water will subside. That's the way our drainage system will work. So what we're trying to do is create swales and improve our outfalls to help that water get out. So once high tides are a little different, once you get to the seawall, we could pump it out into the Gulf, but it's going to come right back in.
Right.
So at that point, we just kind of have to wait unless we do higher seawalls. But yes, all of this drainage should help, overflow of other streets too, and help the water drain a little quicker as we go.
Thanks you, Jeff. Very important. I had
Don't run
a-
off, Jeff, because I have a question for you. Go ahead.
Thank you for that, and I'll take the other questions I have offline, but I had a meeting with residents who invited me to talk about flooding on their street, and so we'll talk about that. I'd love to see, it looks like some of this may help some of those folks, but we want to look to see where they fit into this. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. That's it.
Vice Mayor, any questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I was going to bring it up under the council comments, but since we're talking about it, Fairview was brought up. I had a couple concerned residents call from the Fairview Isles area about the drainage there and the road construction, and they can't seem to get any answers from anyone about, sometimes it's an outfall that's missing, but, it seems like once we get this done, there's a long time between when the stormwater is repaired and we actually do the grading of the street that's been tore up. So could you talk a little bit about what the process is, or about how long people can expect once the stormwater is complete before the roads will be fixed and they don't have to worry about not getting answers?
Yeah, I'll talk to Tetra Tech too to see, and Andrew Site Work to see what their timeline actually is. I know we've had them do a few extra projects like Fairview Isles, so that's kind of delayed the project with residents calling in and saying, can we do this on my street, or this isn't draining? So we've been trying to troubleshoot the drainage part first. But I'll get on our website. It does have kind of a list. It doesn't have dates, but it has a list of streets that are getting done. By next council meeting, I'll have some dates hopefully for you that we can post on the website.
Okay. Will, if you guys could get out specifically, because they reached out yesterday about Fairview Isles, where they're at as far as completion of that project, so that they can have a better understanding. They said it's been difficult to get responses.
Yeah, we'll
from staff.
definitely update our projects, ongoing projects on the website, but also put something out through proper messages with.
Yeah, they usually go in groups too, so they don't just do, you
Sure.
know, they'll bring down and do, like they did with, around the Shell Mound
Mound,
area,
yeah.
where they did a bunch of them at once, just, you know, so they don't have to bring down trucks, you know, every
Yeah,
other day. or
and
whatever,
they
so.
weren't complaining, it's just, you know, they're trying to be as patient as they can.
Understand.
Yeah, I've been
Just
down there
wanna-
too. I mean, I drive and take a look, you know, at least once a day, once
Yeah.
a week for sure. But I usually drive around, and yeah, there are pooling areas there for sure. But they're trying to get the drainage right, and then the crowns of the roads will go into those drains. So that'll kind of be step 2.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
May I piggyback on that while we're on the subject? One quick second, Jeff. So that must have been, maybe there was a full moon or a high tide or something, because I also got calls. Mine were the Flamingo Street neighborhood. And one of the questions was asked, and I thought it was a good one, is if we're expecting flooding, they understand they can't have everything tomorrow. Could we put our vehicles on town property at night without any problem, because it's higher ground? Apparently, we maybe own some parking area that's a little higher on Flamingo, you know, if they're worried about getting flooded.
I don't know about liability with that.
Yeah, I
Maybe,
didn't know either.
you
Yeah,
know, town
definitely
attorney.
liability. I like your thought process, Jeff. I mean, we could possibly get a waiver, but under the state of emergency, if there is flooding, well, maybe it's not to that extent, but I think on a case-by-case basis, that could be considered with the waiver, and of course, working with Will and what resources the town has.
Yeah, and they're currently still working on the parking lot at Old Town Hall, which is going to be raised pretty significantly, or that might be an option for those residents when there is flooding like that. But yeah, sometimes with the king tides and everything, you see it down on Crescent too, and down by Bayside Park. It just, you know, the duckbills only do so much as far as allowing stuff to come up, but it still
Right.
is coming up, which they're looking into maybe a different kind of duckbill. But once it gets over that seawall, you know, it's tough to control that at that point.
Right.
But as far as the vehicles go, hopefully we'll get that parking lot taken care of. Or, you know, there are other town parking lots they could probably use, not necessarily
Well, that was
property.
the question. So some of these, most of the people I talked to have already purchased the town parking permits that they can park anywhere. Their
Yeah.
question was, if it's gonna happen in the night, can I leave my car there overnight, or would that be, you know, a violation? Would
Yes.
it be towed away?
Yeah,
If they gave us a heads up.
I think, yeah, notification would be,
Sure. Here's
benefit,
our
would be
license
helpful,
plate, yes.
definitely to us. So, but we can definitely work with Tom's team, and if we're notified, we can make sure. But if they have the parking passes, I like the idea of just, you know, any of our town lots where they think they would be better to move their vehicle to.
Right.
And then I'll work with Nancy offline, and we'll work through the legalities of it.
perfect.
Yeah,
Thank
just
you. It's a
like
good
Bay
suggestion.
Oaks. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, sure.
Bay Oaks would be a good option, the
Yep.
top part of it, not necessarily the
Right.
bottom, because that's kind
Exactly.
of a gully.
So
we
we'll
can-
help them identify
we
some
can-
safe
we'll-
places for their cars for a
we'll put that
handful
out.
of hours. They bring them back. They know they're waiting. Everything doesn't happen overnight, but we can help them, those who know they're gonna get water in their garages or their driveways. Thanks, Jeff.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Will.
Thanks. Any other questions then for staff? If none, is there a motion for Resolution 26-014, authorizing Amendment 5 to the SRF Stormwater SW 360860?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Counselor King, seconded by Vice Mayor Safford. Any further discussion?
No?
Counselor King?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Counselor Link?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is next is 25-355, authorizing incorporation of contract addendum to contract amendment with Tyler Technologies. This is a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Fort Myers Beach approving a change to the second addendum to the Tyler Technologies contract to incorporate an attachment to the second addendum into the second addendum to facilitate recording, keeping of the contractual terms and conditions between the parties retroactive to January 1st, 2026, authorizing the town manager to execute the revised second addendum as stated herein, providing for an effective date. Joe?
Joe Hansen, Finance Director. I know this sounds very complicated, but it's actually turns out to be very simple. When we originally contracted with Tyler about a year ago, they had their own contract, and then we had an addendum to the contract that had our standard required language, most of which was required by the state of Florida. So that was an addendum to the original contract. Now we're coming back about a year later to do another addendum in order to upgrade to from Tyler Pro to Tyler Munis. And at the same time, now Tyler is asking, because of the second addendum, they're asking, could we not then take that original contract and combine what was originally added to the contract from that was required by state law, so that it's one contract and that all we have left then is this one addendum. So basically, it's a matter of formatting the contracts and combining language. It does not change any language at all, according to what was originally approved when you approved this at the last meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It's really, as we stated, to facilitate the recording and the keeping of all the contractual terms in one document as opposed to having them in multiple documents. But I do not think the substance of any of the terms have changed. So it's really a ministerial record-keeping request.
And Nancy, you don't have any pause about this?
Not at all.
John, any questions for staff?
Joe, there is no financial impact on this, correct?
No, not at all.
Thank you.
Rebecca?
None.
Scott?
How's the conversion coming?
Well, it hasn't started yet. It's due to begin this month. And
Okay,
so as
that's
soon
right.
as this is approved, and we'll be getting going with
And we're
that.
thinking, what, 6 months?
Well, the go-live date is planned for October 1st, the beginning of the new fiscal
Fiscal
Okay.
year, yeah.
New fiscal year. Okay, great.
Thanks, Joe.
That's all I had. Thank you.
If there's no other discussion, is there a motion for Resolution 25-355 authorizing incorporation of contract addendum into contract amendment with Tyler Technologies?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor King, seconded by Vice Mayor Safford. Any further discussion?
None.
Counselor King?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
Counselor Link?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Next is the special event. This is approval of a reoccurring special event application for the 14th Annual Putt and Pub Crawl hosted by the Fort Myers Beach Women's Club to take place on Saturday, January 17th, 2026 from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the 11 locations included within the application, the rental of Bayside Veterans Park, and the following two conditions. Number one, the open container ordinance is in effect in participating locations and should post signage appropriately. Alcoholic beverages should be contained in areas designated by individual businesses ABT licensing, and participants should stay to the sidewalk and not interfere with vehicular traffic. I don't see anyone here from the Women's Club. Do you have anything to add, Will?
No one here from the Women's Club. Tom, any concerns, other than what the mayor stated are two conditions? No,
sir.
nothing really to add.
As long as we're clear on the open container space and people are acting appropriately.
Yes, we just want to make sure those two conditions were noted, which you did so, Mayor.
Okay. John, any questions for staff?
None.
Rebecca?
None.
Scott?
No, it's a great event.
I have none either. Is there a motion to approve the special event for the 14th Annual Putt and Pub Crawl?
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion by Counselor Link, seconded by Vice Mayor Safford. Counselor King?
Aye.
Counselor Link?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Safford?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. That motion carries unanimously. Last is the vacancy on the town council. Acknowledge receipt of Councilmember Adderhalt's resignation on December 26, 2025. Declare a vacancy on the town council for seat number 4 and provide direction to the town manager regarding next steps to fill the vacancy. Will?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, so we just have some administrative things to take care of here, and myself and Amy and Nancy will discuss those with the council. First, from the town staff perspective, I too would like to thank former Councilor Jim Adderholt for his service to the town, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve alongside him and learn from him. As I know, I speak for many members of the staff, and it was a pleasure working with Jim, and we wish him all the best in his future endeavors. What we need to discuss here is a few things that I want to recommend to council is, my recommendation is for a 3-week application window, ending on January 25th. This would provide, adequate time for applicants to make their application, but it would also allow time after those applications are received for the town clerk and her team to assemble those, get them in the agenda, get all the materials to the counselors in time to review before the first meeting in the month of February. I think this is also, for me, as the town manager, addresses, I want to avoid a prolonged vacancy, just for good governance and management. This, from my perspective, the sooner we can fill that with the best applicant, the better. Allows us to continue on with many of the projects and issues that we have in this town with a full council. To be difficult without the full council for quorums and for any decisions that might require a majority vote. It would be extra difficult if we didn't have all 5. So I just wanted to make that note. Amy, there had to make some adjustments to the application form. I think those have been made, and they'll be ready to distribute the application.
It will, and there's some other suggestions that the town attorney had mentioned too.
Okay,
so.
please, Nancy.
Yes, if I can.
Yes.
And also, Will's three-week period, although 3 weeks might sound like it's a long period of time, it's really not. When we sat down with Amy and trying to figure out your agenda schedules and meeting times. Over the holidays, a couple issues came up, and I first wanted to go ahead and clarify that I had misinterpreted your charter, and I had told a few folks that the next election, the interpretation of that in your charter was the next time for Jim's seat, when it would have come up. And I retracted that, and I apologize for any confusion that it may have caused. Unfortunately, I read other charters and other communities do things differently, and that was my mistake. So I want to clarify that for everyone. The next election is the election in November. Also, another question that came up was, well, in November, what would the length of that term be? Would it just be the last 2 years of Jim's term or not? Or would it be 4 years? And it is my opinion that it would be a 4-year term. This would put 3 seats up for election in this November, but then the following year, where Jim's seat would have been up, is only going to be 2. So you're still going to be on a 3-2 process. My opinion on that. My opinion on that is based on your charter. Your charter has language in it on 5.03 that specifically says the term of office is 4 years. 2 other issues came up. One was, what is the definition of residency? And your charter really does not define residency. However, it also, in addition to residency as a qualification, you must be a registered voter. And when you look at some of the state factors that come into play for being a registered voter, it does take into account a lot of things that you might consider residency to be. For instance, where you physically sleep at night, where you receive your mail, where you get utility bills, that such thing. The last question that I have heard that has been asked of me is whether or not it is required to accept the salary. The charter provides for the salary, then you have an ordinance that actually implements that. So if council chose at some point in the future, you could amend your ordinance to allow the option to not take a salary for whichever council member chooses to go in that direction. So those are a couple of things I wanted to clarify, just some questions that have been asked of me, so for the good of the whole, so we're all on the same page. The one question that I would add to your application is a certification from the applicant that they are qualified to fill the position.
Nancy, go back to a couple points you made. Understand how it would be the next election, understand how it would be 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Would there anything that would need to be changed? Because currently it would have been, 3 people would have been up this November. right?
Two.
Two. So it was 2 and then 3, and
Yes.
like 2028 would be the 3.
Yes.
Is there anything that has to be done then? It sounds like that would then flip-flop, so it'd be
It-
3, and then in
yes.
2028, there would be 2.
Yes.
And was there anything that has to be done policy-wise
I don't
based on the
think so.
charter? It would just automatically flip?
Yeah, because the flip is still going to be consistent with your charter. So,
Well, I'm assuming we would have to notify the supervisor of elections that this would change. Amy, she's nodding her head.
I would assume we would,
we
because they're not
would,
expecting
but
it.
at qualifying time, I think, because you would only have qualifications for, well, coming this July, we would have to notify the SOE that we're going to have 3 seats up rather than the 2.
Okay. John, any questions for staff on this or comments?
I'd like to reserve some comments and hear more discussion first. Thank you.
Okay. Rebecca?
Yeah, I have some comments. I'm not sure I can think through the implications between the 2-3 to 3-2 and anything I may not be considering. Does anybody have, other than?
I think she-
me?
So-
Six
so-
and one, half dozen the other? I'm not
Well,
sure.
she's interpreted the charter. I'm on the charter
Review.
review, and that's the way I think most of the charter review people interpret it. We are actually tomorrow at 2:00, if people want to come, we're going to talk about Section 5. And, you know, I've got some concerns because other municipalities, when this happens, that person takes over the term. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say Dan or I or you resign, so then we'll have 4 people at this next upcoming election. So I think that the charter review needs to take a hard look at, do we want it to be to the next election, or do we want it to be to fulfill the term? But that's the charter reviews. They're going to review this and give us a recommendation.
What does the charter say now?
The charter says,
It's not gonna be
the way Nancy interpreted it is exactly the way the charter is written today. So,
Okay. So that seat will be until the next
Next election.
election,
Next
which would be November. So like myself and this person,
right.
and whoever else would be.
And then Counselor King's seat
And King,
is up
right,
for
okay.
renewal. So
There's
yeah,
the
that'd be
three.
the 3.
So I don't have any questions, but I
That helps
I've
clarify,
been looking
yeah.
at the charter review, or charter, and that's exactly how it's
For
stated.
obvious reasons, yeah.
So is there any other comment that Scott should bring back to the Charter Review Commission tomorrow?
So I'm going to bring that up at the charter review tomorrow. But if there's anything else you guys would like me to address, let me know.
Well, I think for me, it would be important if we can, you don't want to get into the weeds with the charter, I understand, but it would be nice to really clarify some of the language that's in the charter that is vague to help eliminate some of that interpretation. You know, to me, when you say interpretation, that could lead to legal challenges, right? But if it's spelled out, if it's pretty spelled out that this is exactly what it means, so maybe it's just maybe it's just wording that needs to be changed. I don't know that, you know, they'll discuss it and make the recommendation, but to me, clarifying some of the stuff in the charter makes more sense than reinventing the wheel.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
I have a little concern with the 3-week timeframe. I agree with Nancy a little bit, and I think that's, you know, what we have found in the past on this island is, you know, we know about it, and those that pay close attention know about it, but notices, things like this, by the time it actually gets out to people that may be still back up north, that are residents here, visiting family may not know about it, and by the time they get back, they hear about it. Now there's only a week to try to get involved. To me, I think a month makes more sense, 30 days, that allows enough time for people to get the word out, but I'm not gonna die on the vine on it either. If staff thinks 3 weeks is enough time to be able to get everything in order and properly notice that there's this vacancy and how to go about doing it, I'm fine with it, but I would prefer to see an extra week. I don't know how my fellow counselors feel about that.
It's interesting because I was thinking I'd prefer to take a week off, but I hear what you're saying, you know.
No, I understand.
You know, because I was just looking at the upcoming meetings, so I thought, well, if we had 2 weeks, if it could be done,
When is,
then
when is the first meeting in February?
it's
What's
on
date?
the
Second.
second.
February 2nd,
Oh, so
so
it
the
comes
next
up-
one
And
would
if
be
we took a week away, we could do it
15th,
at the
Amy?
next meeting
2
It's
weeks
ironic,
later.
it's Groundhog Day.
16.
on
Yeah,
January
it's
20th.
Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not gonna die
Yeah,
on the vine.
I'm
If
not sure.
everybody thinks 3 weeks, I mean, I'm really relying on staff on this more than anything. If Amy thinks she could pull this off and get it
I would really,
back to
I
us.
would go to what Amy
I don't
has
think
to
there's
say.
a way we can get on the next meeting on the 20th because the deadline is already passed for that meeting.
That answers my question.
Okay. If you added another week, that would move the deadline from the 25th of January to the 1st of February, and
Then it would
we
have to be
could
the
get you
second
on the
meeting.
16th of February meeting.
Okay. So when is the deadline for noticing for the February 2nd meeting? And are we still, is that 3 weeks away? You know, how does the 21 days add up?
January 25th would be 3 weeks for the end, that would be the last day to
26th.
apply. So the 26th would then be, which is the Monday prior.
26 is
That's
when
a
we would
week.
publish the agenda for the 2nd. So,
So the deadline would, to be submitted then would be the 25th, and then you would publish.
It's a Sunday.
technically,
that's
For
it.
the, to apply,
Here you go,
then
Nate.
it would be,
See, that's when
normally,
the calendar's coming in.
That's why the print.
normally we do shoot for that Monday prior for the agenda to be
technically, the
published.
deadline for the February
I
2nd
kind of
agenda
agree
is
with Dan.
Friday,
Maybe
January
2nd,
16th. That's
then
the actual
decide on
deadline
If we
to
were
get
to,
on
if we
there.
were to make the application deadline February 2nd, that would give us a week
To make sure all the paperwork's in order.
before.
I just
and
don't
then-
want to
and
rush
then-
this.
I
and
kind
then-
of agree with
I
that.
have no issues with it. I mean, it's 2 more weeks when I factor in everything together. But my main concern is, I understand, I think it's a great point you raised, Mr. Mayor, but my main concern is just acting, judiciously so we don't have the, vacancy any longer than necessary. But I think that's good process that you recommend. Mr.
Yeah,
Mayor.
I just think it would
I-
give
I
staff
agree.
a little bit more time to be able to vet out, all the documentation that
Yeah.
goes
I
into it.
really don't like a Sunday deadline. I like to see a working day as a deadline, so I'd feel more comfortable with February 2nd.
Being the deadline to submit,
Being the-
end of day, the 2nd?
Yeah, close of business on
I'm fine
the
with that.
2nd.
I think it works well.
John, you all right with that?
Fine.
And bring that back to the February 16th meeting
Amy, I have February as 17th.
It's the 17th,
17th?
16th's a
because
holiday.
of the holiday.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm just looking at a generic
Gotcha,
calendar.
gotcha.
That would, and Amy, that would, to your point, that would mean that February 17th meeting would be the first time that council would vote on
Correct.
applicants.
Guess I'm not going to Waterville.
You could zoom in.
All right,
good.
is there anything else that the staff needs policy direction on, other than the time frame for, and maybe just for people that are listening, and we can get it on the record, what is necessary, Amy, to be an applicant? Man, I know you covered it a little bit, Nancy, but,
According to your charter.
yes. What the requirements are, that way
Let
everybody
me
knows.
get there. Each member of the council shall be a resident, this is section 4.01C. Each member of the council shall be a resident of the town and a registered voter, and shall have resided within the corporate limits of the municipality for a minimum of 1 year prior to qualifying for election.
Okay. That's all I need.
Okay.
That raises another question, Scott, when you go back to your charter, Jim. If you would consider if that replacement takes on the term of the person who left the seat, let's say it's for 3 years or however long, does our qualifying applicant, are they required to do a Form 1? I know just as I went through to qualify
So
for.
once they're elected, then they're required by state law to fill out the Form 1. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct. If they were to be appointed, they have, I think it's 30 days to file that Form 1
Yeah.
with the Commission
I
on
had
Ethics.
to do the same thing.
Right.
Well, actually, I
the
did
reason
it
I'm-
because I was on the LPA, but
So
yeah.
the reason I'm asking is, I had to do the Form 1 as a candidate, to be qualified as a candidate. I know this isn't a candidate, it's an appointment.
I was just saying, when
But-
you go through the supervisor of elections, you have to do the Form 1 to open your campaign file and
Right,
file
right.
your
What I'm
candidates.
asking is, can we add that to our charter? if someone is going to sit for 3 years and have the same weight of a vote as we do, I think the
I
residents
think-
should know where
that's
their
a good point.
financial, where their income comes from, just at the highest
I,
level of
I think
Form
we
1
should,
does.
I will ask the charter review
To
to
consider.
look at that, to consider it. Sure.
I don't know if it's appropriate or not, but
Go ahead, John.
I wouldn't put the specific form in there because obviously it could change, but that they should meet the qualifications, I guess, would be acceptable to me.
All right, so to recap,
Okay.
essentially what we said here in the 15, 20 minutes we've been talking about it seems like, is the appointment will be until November election of this year, correct, Nancy?
Yes.
And then at that time, it will be 3 members that will be running for the 3 vacancies. The deadline to file was the end of business day on February 2nd, 2026 for that vacancy, and it'll be talked about on the meeting of the 17th.
File with the town
With the
clerk?
town clerk, yes,
Okay.
yes. Everything goes through Amy when it comes to council seats.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Actually, 2 questions. One is, when the appointment is made on the 17th, when should they be prepared? Should they be prepared for that meeting, following their appointment? I think that's what we did with Ms. Link.
Well,
So they know.
Well, I guess that would fall back, I would throw it back to staff. I mean, if there's 4 people, then you would have to get the agenda packet out to all 4 people to review, to be prepared for that meeting on the 17th.
No.
Well, it's
What they
published.
did with me was
Yeah. The subsequent
the
meeting?
subsequent meeting.
Okay.
Again, now you're talking 2 months out.
yeah.
Well, they would take the position,
But would they be involved in the meeting on the 17th?
I don't think I was I?
I don't remember. I think once you were appointed, you took the seat for the following meeting, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. I think that's how it went.
We can look into that for you.
I'm sorry?
We can look into that for you.
Yeah,
I don't
Okay.
remember what happened.
I think that's
either.
important to include in the
it is too.
application packet so that whoever is selected can, schedule their time accordingly. And then also the certification, if that's okay with council, that the statements that they are qualified to fulfill the seat.
Yeah, I guess that's the more I think about it, the more I think you were at the following me, because you had to do the
Yeah,
onboarding and all the things.
Isn't
that you had to
there
do.
HR
Stuff you gotta
issues?
do.
Wasn't that how
Yeah,
it
there
went down
is
last
onboarding
time?
with
There's
HR that would have
onboarding.
to occur.
You have the orientate, I mean, yeah, you would do an orientation. I had to go through orientation and onboarding. Yeah, I don't,
I don't think you could just take the seat on this.
no. I think it's the next meeting. Yeah.
That's the way it's gotta be, that's the way it's gotta be.
Is that correct? Yes, okay.
Now, I took the seat right away, swap. Karen left, I sat, I voted, and I got onboarded, in the subsequent, in that week.
Right, but you had time before, you knew the election had happened, and you
Right.
knew you were going to be taking that seat, so you had time to
That's
onboard and
true.
prepare.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
that was that was an actual
right.
election versus an appointment.
You're right.
So I know that's gonna be a little bit longer than probably Will and staff would like, but
I'll have to accept that. I think it's a valid, it's a valid point. I was prepared to say, well, the agenda is public a week prior to anybody.
It is.
So
It
they
is,
could
yeah.
prepare
That's a good point.
themselves.
I think you should
just
be
as a point.
prepared.
They could, all applicants could prepare themselves to say,
Right.
but there's a difference with knowing that you're, when you prepare and knowing, and preparing to vote on things or, talking with, residents about certain issues. There's a difference. So that's,
yeah, I think you raise a good point. I think it would have to be at the following, the selection could happen on the 17th, and then they would take the seat at the following meeting, allow time to do your onboarding.
On March 16th then. Wow.
Can you go to the microphone,
Yeah,
please? We gotta-
I'm leaning on staff here. You're the ones that are gonna have to
Yes,
do the onboarding
please.
and.
Hello, Talisa Oliveira, Human Resources Director for the record. I mean, technically, we could do it either way. With Will's point, we don't want to delay it. We could absolutely do it the day of appointment. We'll just work around what you would like to do.
I agree with Talisa. I mean, it is discretionary on your part as to how you accomplish it.
So there's no state regulations that say you just hired a new, like, I remember back in Minnesota, you had to do all the state paperwork before they could even step on the job site to do anything. And I don't know if that's the same here in Florida. or
No,
not.
there is no requirement that's necessary. We send the onboarding paperwork beforehand so that people can do it from their home, and then on the day they start, we just have a sit down with them where we orient
Okay.
them on
Okay.
the policies. and the
Then I'm fine with it if you guys think you can make it, so you can send out the onboarding paperwork to any of the applicants, all the applicants ahead of time?
We could. I mean, I don't recommend that
Okay.
because it is a lengthy process. We don't want to put them in our payroll system or anything like that.
Oh, got it.
Once the appointment happens the day of, I mean, we will go ahead and send it out that same day, and we can make it happen very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys think you can do it, I don't want to wait another 2 weeks, to your point.
I don't either, Mr. Mayor. I think it can be done. As the town manager, I don't have a problem with them being selected and appointed and then taking a seat
Okay.
immediately following.
I agree. I think if they want to run for office, they may waste a little bit of time preparing for something that they don't have to do. But there's a lot to this job, and that is the minimum we can ask of you. And I think you both would agree that you're already up to speed. You pay attention anyway. My biggest concern is split votes. I want to get
Yeah.
on with the business of the town, and if the town can support us, I'd like to.
We will.
All right. So then the appointment will happen on the 17th, and they need to be ready to take the seat on the 17th. You okay with that, John?
Yes, sir.
Okay?
And we will be ready to orient them on the 17th.
And can I get some direction from council? Do you want me to bring back an ordinance that would allow for the waiver of the salary before the 17th? Because I have 2 meetings, I can do it if you want to move forward with that.
I would like
Can
that.
you explain that?
I may need Talisa a little bit, but basically, they are receiving a salary, and there would be, I believe, tax ramifications to it. I don't know if it is an employee or as a 1099, but it would have individual tax consequences to it. If they waived it, then they're not getting an income, and they wouldn't have that additional income. I don't know the benefits, how that would be handled.
Well, they would still be eligible for benefits because it's based on the class. But yeah, they could waive. The income is taxable, but if they waive it, then there's no tax implication.
So you wouldn't want to really discourage someone from applying because of the fact that they're going to have additional income. So if we put that
So you're
option,
saying some people, because of Social Security,
yeah, they may not want the money.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
But they're still eligible for benefits.
They're still eligible for benefits, yes. And that is common. We've seen that in other charters where they have that,
Yeah.
that language of
Yeah, that's fine.
waiving.
I
the
can
Okay,
put
income.
it in the.
thanks for clarifying.
I
I
can
was-
put it in the ordinance, and then we could probably get that adopted before your selection. So that way, if anybody falls into that category, it's not going to impede them.
Okay.
And can we add to that, perhaps, if this is the timing, that salary as well could be donated? So I don't accept it for my tax benefit, but I give it to the town. So it's still an expense for the town, but it goes into a different bucket. Is that of any value?
Well, I think how Counselor King did it, and he probably could speak better than I did, is he took the salary, but he donated. John, you could probably answer that question better than anyone.
Yes, I could. And, yeah, it was just a basic donation as an individual. So, but I did accept the salary and then gave it to 3 nonprofits.
So then you take the salary for your tax benefit, and then you show it as an expense or as a donation on your tax return.
It wasn't much of a benefit for the tax return, but
That's why I'm saying, if it could be, then it
It's-
helps you with
You
your
can
tax
do
return.
that now without any change to,
yeah.
you can do that now.
The problem is with the tax rates, there's not much of a benefit with even the deductions I made.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that the policy would need to read that.
No, I think the only thing we'd need to change in policy is what Nancy is recommending in the ordinance.
From up front, you can choose to not take the salary if you want to.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm fine with bringing it forward, Nancy,
Okay.
before then.
That's an easy one.
Okay.
And/or the benefits.
Okay.
Yep, because I did
Thank
not
you,
take the
Counselor Link,
benefits, but
yes.
took the salary, yeah. Okay.
Anything else? Do you need a motion on these changes? Or-
I think I'm hearing the consensus.
Okay.
I think I've heard a consensus to move forward with that, and then the two little changes that we wanted to make, telling them what the dates are, the critical dates, as well as the certification that they are eligible.
Okay. Then we will move on to final public comment. Any of you three want to speak in the final public comment? Bill?
Bill Veach, Star Boulevard. A couple things that are interesting. I know that you talked about some of the vagueness in saying what's a residence. The state has a mechanism, which is the homesteading laws, where you're basically certifying this is your primary resident. I know in my brief and unsuccessful attempt at being a snowbird, in homesteading here, I actually had to pay more property tax on a condo I had in Utah. So it is a mechanism where you're saying that this is my primary residence, not maybe now, but maybe some of the charter review commission should consider as making one of the declarations that you're a resident.
All right, thanks. Anyone else? Jim? Tom? No? Okay. Town manager items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to first start off with, again, congratulations to the staff and to all of our community for our recent verification from FEMA and the community rating system of our reentry into the National Flood Insurance Program as a Class 5. Truly a monumental achievement by the staff. A lot of hard work went into that, and it's very significant for them, but also for our community. So I appreciate the community's support through the whole process as well. I would like to note and add that going forward, it did say in the letter that it's pretty much a reoccurring. We stay at a Class 5 unless something happens to trigger a reduction in that. It's not as easy as that. There's still quite a bit of work that the team will have to do on a regular basis to make sure. So just going forward, my message to the community on that is that just don't be surprised if you're still being, if town staff is still reaching out to you for clarifications on different things when it comes to floodplain management with your properties or projects and stuff like that. It's just the reason that we got to that Class 5 is because we improved our policies and procedures to demonstrate to FEMA that we're going to manage that effectively, and we have to continue to manage that effectively. It's going to be an ongoing process, so thank you for everybody for their support on that.
Well, before we move on, could you just let everybody know that maybe doesn't know when that's going to take effect?
Yeah, so it will take effect with insured's premiums as far as April 1st, 2026 would be the first time that it would take effect on anybody's premiums.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to, first, I need some assistance from the council. We need to appoint a council member to chair the Selection Advisory Committee for the Financial Auditing Services. RFP recently went out for our financial auditing services. When those proposals come back, we'll need a counselor to chair the Selection Advisory Committee. So if I could just get, my recommendation would be that we keep it with our advisor to the Audit Committee, which would be Councilor Safford, Vice Mayor Safford. I recommend we continue with that, but it's council's decision. We just need
I'd be honored to.
so I don't know,
I don't have any
what we
issues
need,
with that.
Nancy,
John,
do we
you have
need
any?
just?
Scott, you're good at the beans.
Have at it.
Thank you very much. You all know that I sent a letter to the superintendent of Lee County Schools before the holidays began of a proposal for consideration, again, in the negotiations back and forth for Fort Myers Beach Elementary School, for the future of Fort Myers Beach Elementary School. I did receive acknowledgement right before the holiday from the deputy superintendent of receipt of that letter, and that, after the holidays, they would be getting back to me as soon as possible. So I suspect sometime in the next couple of weeks, and I will notify the council urgently when I do receive that. Other than that, I think most things have been discussed over the last few days. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tracy. One more thing, sorry. We do have the strategic plan will be discussed again in February 5th M&P meeting. So for all counselors to note that, and myself and the leadership team will be having more sessions between now and then. But the next time I'll need council to be in active discussion. And Tracy, do you have anything to add about what counselors can expect in that session?
Thank you, Will. At the next M&P meeting in regards to the strategic plan, we will come forth with some more wordsmithing and goals that we were given the direction from council at our last strategic plan meeting, which would include some clarification and definitions of goals and values and potential objectives, measurable, that council can weigh in on and give additional input on direction for the town. So a lot of wordsmiths will come forth.
All right.
Okay, and one final thing is, as briefly discussed before, over the past few weeks, we've moved further along in some contract solutions to assist myself and the town staff and really, the council as well as the entire community on how we are better able to answer resident questions, answer counselor questions, better process information ourselves as a town staff, and really, move more into the digital age, if you will, with advanced digital tools. So we've got a few contracts which we finalized for some virtual assistants, whether that be voice or digital over the website. And I know there will be a lot of community questions, a lot of counselor questions about what that will look like and how, it will be an impact to the residents and what changes there might be to how they receive information, receive services from town staff. So rest assured that every member of town staff will still be available for one-on-one conversations with any of you and any members of the public that want that. What we want to do is really improve our processes really it's getting to the answer as quickly as possible. When you call in, it's just a couple of quick questions and you're getting the answer that you need. Or when you go to the website, it's 2 clicks and you're getting to the answer that you need. That's my goal. These tools are going to help us get there. I really do believe that. Over the coming weeks, we are going to have a pretty aggressive strategy of informing the public and informing all of you of what those changes might look like. It's going to be some time before we actually implement these because we just finalized the contracts. We have to go through, much like you were talking with Joe about Tyler Tech and everything, there's an implementation process where these companies have to come in, sit down with staff. They have to figure out what it is that we want them to do, we want the tools to do, and then working our systems, our current systems, tying into those advanced digital tools. So it's not going to happen next week or the week after, but we're definitely going to start the education process for the staff, for all of you, and for our residents and businesses here in the town. We're going to start the education process of what it might look like and what they can expect. So over the coming weeks, you'll see myself out talking about this, Abigail out talking about this, and be happy to answer any questions. Any questions now about that?
Not on that, but I want to go back to the school part of it. There's been a recent editorial that was out basically saying that decisions have already been made when it comes to the school, and that could be farthest from the truth. I guess the public's looking for reassurance. They want input. They want to have input. Should we get to a point where we can come to an agreement with the school board on the land and the building and how we move forward, that we're going to include the public, that no decisions have been made, regardless if it's a charter school, public school, that hasn't been made yet. We're just in the process of trying to work with them to get to a solution, if you will, to get the school back. But can you just talk on that a little bit about what the process will be if we can get to that point, on how the community will be involved to have input? Because some people feel, based on that article, that all decisions have been made and we're not letting the residents weigh in on it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I agree with you 100%. No decisions have been made. We're in the back and forth negotiations with the school district, what they're willing to offer versus what we are seeking. And so there's been no decisions to made as exactly what form a future school on Fort Myers Beach will look like. That's still part of the negotiation, still part of the discussions going back and forth. We have, on that note, I will, in full transparency, we have started the research process here in the town to position ourselves for success in talking about the different types of forms of schools it could be, whether it be a public or a municipal or a charter or municipal charter, something, in that. I think it's just best practice, good for us to start the research on that and start talking to experts that can help us best be prepared for that. But no decision has been made whether or not it will be a charter. So I think going forward, my recommendations will be that we do have these discussions, whether it be during the regular town council meetings or separate public forums for the public to come forth. And we can give our proposal to the public. We can hear public comment on that, take all that in before any official decision is made by the elected body
Nice.
on the forward. Yes.
All right, thanks. Didn't mean to catch you off guard by
Not at all.
throwing, but you brought it up, so. John, you have anything for Will?
No, thank you.
Rebecca?
Sure, I love that public forum part. I would ask, I'm wondering if we might also have a public forum when you're talking about some of the new tools, so that we can hear from the public. I'm not sure if there's any, what would I call it? Maybe a feedback. If there's any feedback loops currently in town that you can look at to hear, what are the complaints? What are people having problems with the process? You know how usually after you've filled out a form online, something will pop up and say, you know, how would you rate your experience? I don't know if we do anything like that. But some of that I would like to see in a public forum, so we can hear, what are your pain points? And we know that we're addressing them, and they know that we're listening to them. So, just another thought.
Will do.
And that's it.
Scott?
Yeah, I actually have 3 things for you, Will. Over the holiday, we saw that traffic light is still a huge issue down on the right-hand side there.
Fifth and San Carlos?
Fifth and San Carlos. And, you know, we've got a 3-week lull now between high season. It usually typically starts Martin Luther King weekend. So want to see if we could take, either get that thing fixed or have a solution with Tom's staff to help with that intersection. Because it was, I got so many phone calls and texts, and sure you did too, about the congestion down there. And a lot, people blame the traffic, but a lot of it's just pedestrians. We just need somebody down there to help the pedestrians.
Crowd control.
Crowd control.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Safford. Yes, I too received some calls and some feedback from the public on that, and went and saw it for myself. I am continuing the discussions with Lee County on the future of fixing that light and tying it in with the others so we can have a working light and pedestrian signals at that intersection. In the meantime, obviously, we have to have alternate solutions, and I've been talking with Tom about those solutions. Tom, why don't you come on up and just talk to what we've kind of talked about. What we're going to do is, instead of, my guidance to him, and right now, is instead of a contract for contracted traffic control, or always trying to rely on Lee County sheriffs sending some additional deputies, I really want to move forward with having our staff do the traffic control. Tom has been working very hard over the last year on training his staff and bringing on some more folks to be able to do that, and I'm confident. And Tom, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit more about that?
Good morning, Thomas Yazzo, Emergency Services Director, Fort Myers Beach. So the plan is, after talking to the town manager, we're going to have some of the rangers in that area to assist. It takes 2 people to handle an intersection. It's a 3-way vehicular intersection, but it's a 4-way pedestrian intersection. So, to your point, Vice Mayor, the bigger issue is not the traffic. The bigger issue is pedestrian blockage. So our goal is, starting here in a couple weeks, as I'm bringing more staff on, we're going to have rangers out there, and we're going to stop traffic as needed, move the pedestrians, but also, more importantly, stop the pedestrian traffic as needed. So it's just not a constant overflow. Keep that organized, and that will allow the traffic to flow more smoothly. We'll clear the bridge for safety reasons. That's going to be our priority. But also, we don't want to shut down the north side of the island either, because that'll slow down some of the businesses up there too. So we are working at it. We will start having a plan. We have a plan in place, but we'll start initiating it probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
That's great. Thank you.
I have a question for you, Tom, or town manager. I've had people, and I think I'm confused too, it doesn't take much these days. I have learned when I moved to Florida years ago, when you see a crosswalk and there's people standing there, you stop. I think the confusion is, if you're in Times Square and you see people standing there and you have the green light, I think that gets people confused. So that is, don't stop, right?
So the
Continue.
statute The statute, actually, Florida statute says that you stop for people within the crosswalk, not standing on the edge.
Okay.
So it's kind of a confusion that people think they always have to stop when people are waiting. That's actually not the truth. Now, for safety reasons,
Wow,
please
yeah.
don't run anybody over.
Right.
Let's make sure we're very clear with that we want you to be conscious of the fact that your 5,000-pound weapon that you're driving can hurt a body. So make sure we're clear on that. But the fact is, pedestrians also have to be aware of the fact that they have to be in a safe situation for themselves as well. Don't just walk into traffic because you believe you're righteous. Please wait, make sure things are clear. If people stop and let them go, that's great, but be conscious that's really the statute is for when you're in the crosswalk already.
That's a tough one.
Council
'cause-
Lake, I'm not sure if I could add, you could also, Tom, she may be talking about, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, Council Lake, but like the new intersections, you know, at the base of the bridge and that whole thing where
Yes.
you've got traffic coming onto the island who has a green light, and there may be people in the crosswalk, or people who are
Correct.
turning right from onto Estero, but they have a green turn light. They should not be waiting for pedestrians. They're standing there because
That-
they have a green light.
That's correct. I'm sorry if I misunderstood. Yes. If the traffic lights that you see there, they coincide with your pedestrian crosswalk lighting as well. So
Right.
please don't stop. Move on your green lights. Keep the traffic moving.
Because I think if you were on Estero at other crosswalks, further down the south end, you will witness 90% of the time we stop when someone is standing there. It's almost as if they have the right of way. That took so long to get ingrained in your head because we've gotten tickets if you go. So I think that's also happening. I'm not sure, do they have a walk, no walk light up there or,
Oh, a bunch of them.
Within
yeah, in the crosswalks?
there is
Yeah.
up for the new intersections. Yes, there's
Yeah.
definitely a crosswalk lighting situation that says walk or don't walk, and it
Yeah.
actually has a verbal warning as well for most of them now.
Okay. So it's just still an education and sometimes a human has to be there to help move things along.
Since we're on the subject of that traffic circle light, the thing that bothers me the most about it, and I know I've been involved in this for many, many years and pushback from FDOT, and the light is green as you're coming down on the bridge, but then that dumb crosswalk that's at the bend, that they push the buttons and then it sends the lights off and then now you're stopping again. So even though the light's green, you're now stopping at the crosswalk that shouldn't be there, in my opinion, which really, really stops traffic. And I think what we're seeing, at least what I'm seeing, as you come back over the bridge, there's a lot of, is what I expected, most people expected would happen. The jockeying that took place out before Buttonwood to get from one lane to the other is now happening on the bridge itself as they come over the top of that bridge. They're holding up the through traffic on Estero Boulevard, trying to merge into the traffic that's been sitting backed up because of that intersection that we're talking about. So hopefully we're relaying this. And I mean, even if we got a camera up there, right? I mean, we could start sending them video of this is what's happening. How are you going to fix it?
They do monitor that camera. They have access to it. So yes, we have brought it up to them already about some of the issues there. And that was part of the discussion the town manager had with the county about getting some type of lighting up at Old San Carlos, North Estero, 5th Street, in that area. But the issue is we want them to work together, and that's what the holdup is with the county. Those lights have to ultimately work together with the others so it doesn't create some of the issues you're saying. Without putting up some type of central lane barrier for that double lane to keep people from trying to come over, that's going to be a hard fix, honestly. They'd have to put up some type of, like they do up by
Buttonwood.
By Buttonwood, yes. They put the barriers there so people don't make that, they don't do that. They have to go through.
Right. Oh, well, I mean, I'm not saying something everybody doesn't already know, but it'd be nice if we could try to figure something out for that. And we did actually request a temporary light set up at 5th and San, because I've been asked about that.
Yes, we did.
We did make that request and were denied, correct?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Because we thought that would work, but for some reason, I don't know what the reasoning was or if you want to share it, but.
I can. Their reasoning is it has to be tied in to, the pedestrian end. So just a temporary light there. They don't feel that they'd be able to get a temporary light that could also be tied into the pedestrian crosswalks. Am I correct?
Correct,
Tom?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, neither can the dumb stop sign that sits there, so I guess,
Yeah.
well, that to me isn't really an argument, but I'll take that
Passing
challenge
it
on.
along.
Yeah, I'll take that challenge on.
I think that's an engineering argument, and part of that comes down to the fact that the hardware that's there is got to be repaired totally now. The in-ground hardware for that lighting is, I think, the bigger holdup. It's not so much putting the mast up and getting the lights in place.
Yeah, they want to
It's-
elevate it. and do it.
Yeah, and they also want to get the brain to play nice with the other brain from the other setup. So I think that's what it's coming down to.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. John, anything for Tom?
Okay.
He's up here, all right. And was that with you, Rebecca? Scott, you had 3 things.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know if you guys saw the Chamber's spring break list, but Armageddon is coming March 12th. Lee County Public Schools and every college in Florida has spring break from the 12th to the.
Yes, sir, I saw that. I've already been
So,
in contact with
If
the
you talk
commander
to,
from the 3rd
if you talk,
Precinct.
if you talk to the commander,
Yes,
maybe look at, 1 year we had that Armageddon, they got a bunch of resource officers from the high schools to help out, so.
I think that's part of their intention. I know they have they have an ETF in space now where they're going to an event plan.
And don't get me wrong, I encourage people to come down and spend money on Fort Myers Beach, but that weekend's gonna be,
Yes. Yeah, it's
Crazy.
gonna be
Or those 2
as
weekends.
as it used to be before the hurricane. I think we're gonna see some of that growth again, some of the same population space that moves in. So yes, we are working on it. We're planning for the safety. Public safety is always the priority, and that was part of the conversation with the town manager and I've had over the past couple weeks as well. So some resources I think are going to be shifted here, but I don't want to speak for LCSO yet. But that was kind of what our intent is.
yeah, and from a policy standpoint, do we need to authorize extra spending for public safety, or that's in the budget, or?
I don't want to answer that right now.
Okay, but-
I'll take that I'll take that down,
Okay.
Vice Mayor, and I'll discuss it with Tom and Joe.
I just want to be proactive. I don't want to wait till March 8th and go, gee
I
whiz,
appreciate
there's
it.
going to be 10 billion people here this weekend.
No, I appreciate that.
Drunk people. Would you say the 12th through the, what, is it 2 weeks?
Well,
End
it's
of the
it's
month.
Friday the 12th is the start. I think it's the 12th.
Thursday, the 12th, Friday, the 13th?
Friday
Oh,
the
dear
13th,
God.
yeah,
Okay.
of course. Yeah, Friday the 13th is the first day of.
My short answer would be, we should have what we need with the exception of staffing, which I know HR is working hard with Tom's team to fill those vacancies. But I will come back to you with a more solid answer after I speak
Okay,
with
yeah, I just
Joe and
wanted,
Tom.
want to lay it on the table now. And,
Thank you.
I'll hold off on the 3rd thing.
Okay. All right.
right.
Nancy?
2 things. First of all, on behalf of the Vos Law Firm, Jim, we want to wish you well. We will miss you. We really enjoyed working with you. We felt so welcomed when we were hired to take on and represent the town. Personally, I'm going to miss some of our conversations that we had. As you all know, I drive quite a bit, and Jim and I had extended conversations, which I really appreciated. But Jim, I still have your number, so I still may be calling you. The second item is I do want to shout out to staff as well. They've done a great job over the holidays. Specifically, I want to recognize again the clerk's office, Jason and Amy, for putting on a training regarding the agenda preparation. I have seen a difference already in some of the materials that are getting posted. I know this agenda was short, but we're already looking ahead at some other agendas, and I think they're really coming together as a team.
Very good. That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, I've got one more thing. Perhaps, Tom, will maybe signage right before the bridge that this lane is right turn only?
Definitely something we can take back to the appropriate authorities, county, and FDOT. But we do have our regular meetings with them should be resuming here pretty soon. For the holidays, we'll put that down as an agenda item to discuss with them.
Thank you.
Yeah, is there still a possibility for that at the base of the bridge where that new sign was that was beautiful, that was put up before the hurricane took it away? Is there still infrastructure in there to be able to put some sort of signage there that we could control?
Oh,
Because we own that part of the, I think until the base of the bridge where the sign used to be on the west side. Is that infrastructure still there to be able to put signage up?
I don't know. We'll look we'll have to look into that.
Instead of putting up the sign that
Yeah.
was wrecked twice, maybe it would make more sense to have a signage board there that, you know, bridge is gonna be closed for this, or right turn only, or expect delays, or something to look into.
Yes, we will. I have one more thing, too,
Yeah,
if it's
go
okay,
ahead.
Mr. Mayor. So, thank you, Jeff, for bringing this up. Jim's retirement does also bring up a vacancy on CellCab, for a counselor to be the advisor to CellCab. So I don't know if that's something you want to address now or at the next council meeting.
And also
And
Anchorage
Anchorage, and
Advisory.
Anchorage, right, yeah, for CellCab and Anchorage.
Why don't we just wait till appointment?
So, yeah, we can,
Wait
Yeah,
till
I
the
think that's-
appointment
yeah.
meeting.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
'Cause it might be something
You
that
just
the
even wait
new
until
person would like to.
So just something to think about. then.
Okay.
If there is a meeting and they need a temporary person to sit there, you can call on me for a temporary spot.
Thank you, Council Lee.
Very good. Anything else? Council member items and reports. John?
Just a couple things. Thank you for this opportunity. It's the only vacation my wife takes every year, so I appreciate the opportunity to spend time with her. Thank you for allowing me to zoom in. Secondly, I'd like to address Mr. Veach's comments from earlier. I find it very disingenuous that he threatens to drop an appeal if we vote a certain way. It sounds almost like blackmail, considering he can drop the appeal at any time, and he's never won anything in regards to my case. So just keep that in mind. And thanks, that's it for me.
Counselor Link?
Nothing.
Vice Mayor Safford?
No, I went over my stuff.
All right. The only thing I have, it's been brought up several times, potentially looking at getting garbage cans down Estero Boulevard, as they're starting to obviously rebuild the sidewalks and redo things. You know, we're seeing people are using these pole stanchions that hopefully will be done someday as garbage cans. And I know we probably got to get approval from Lee County to be able to do it, but I think it would be something that would benefit us to, you know, every few blocks or whatever, have a garbage can out for people that, you know, as we're coming into season, more people are going to be biking and walking, and you're going to start to see more trash, and it would just be nice to have a place to put it. Huh? Come on up.
Go ahead, Jeff. I think there
I
was
don't
a
know if we
solution
still
in the
have some.
past, I think, so you can talk to.
Jeff Hauge again, Community Services Director. Lee-Tran had them at the bus stop, so I'll reach out to them and see if they can put them at least at the bus stops on their end. But we'll look at extra trash cans as well, too.
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen, traffic is backing up already. It'd be nice to have some, it don't have to be every block, obviously, but every maybe half mile or
Sure.
something, or every few blocks, we could get something out there, if the county will allow us to do, which I don't see that being an issue, but.
Yeah. I'll definitely reach out.
Okay. Do we still have any leftover, those FMB garbage cans, or are they all?
They're all used up. We've been thinking about buying more. We're looking at a different style because the ones we got before were pretty expensive, so we don't want to spend all that money on the trash cans and out the rusting too, so.
Yeah, no.
We're looking at other options, especially for Old San Carlos, and those, it's just not quite in the budget right now, but we're doing
It'd
some
be
research.
something that's easy for staff to be able to get in and get out quick and not
Yeah,
have to worry
certainly.
about holding things up. That's all I had. There's nothing else? John?
I'll leave you with some words of wisdom from the great former Queen Lily Ukulini. Aloha oi, until we meet again. Thank you. Move to adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn. Any objection? Are we adjourned at 10:31? That was pretty short.